This is Kurt Toville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live finally once again. This is the reflection video, and we have to talk about Jake Paul and his current condition. Chet Perry, my reflection is that Hat Man has some very negative opinions about American fight fans. I like AJ, except for the fact that Jake Paul did not belong in the ring with him. Hat Man deleted my comment. That's strange. I found it's weird to delete comments, especially when you don't reply to them. You know what I mean? But you delete them. I think that's weird because if you don't reply to the masses, why delete them? You know what I mean? I mean, it's basically when your channel gets to a certain amount of views or a certain, like, when it reaches a certain population in the audience, each video turns into its own blog. You know what I'm saying? Where it's the people, us, where if you see something or you comment on something from someone's comment, you may be replying to a comment that's already in the comment section. So it basically turns into a blog, you know what I mean, attached to the video. So to delete it, I think that's weird. But you know, to be fair, it might not have been Hat Man, it might have been YouTube, because what happens is YouTube sometimes just deletes comments, and they delete them based on if they think it's offensive or not. You know, Bill Keaveney, Bill Knows Boxing, 1526. Good evening, fight fans. Hit the like button as you come in. That's absolutely true. Hit the like button. I know I'm about an hour off. I finished up eating at this restaurant called Whip My Soul, which I give it a 6. You know what I mean? Fook Noose 88 just watched the fight again, and Jake actually won 3. He also landed more in round 4 despite falling all over the place. Fair play to him. He is a lad and has massive bollocks. Well, I think though Jake fought the way he felt. You know, because out of caution and fear, he didn't. That's why he was all over the place. And one thing to avoid a punch, you know, grab or get down low. Can you get down low? Can you go to the flow? How low can you go? That was him. Mama Lou, counterpunch to you, 1196 in the building. Counterpunch. Christopher Batello, 3052. If that hit had been just a small, just a little bit more, it would have actually removed the front jaw and lip from his face. It would not have been televised and would have been similar to a horror movie. Hey, that's what he signed up for, though. You know, my nephew made a comment about that. Nico Ali Walsh. If you guys know Nico, he's the grandson of Muhammad Ali. And he had some interesting stuff to say, you know, about Jake and AJ. AJ took it for the money. You know, AJ's the businessman. Jake Paul, for whatever reason, he's generating a lot of money in boxing. 70, 80 million. Imagine fighting somebody that's not proven to be a boxer, but is making that amount of money in the boxing ring. It's insane. That makes, and you think about it, that creates haters anyway. You know what I mean? You think about it. If you're a boxer, if you've been fighting for 10 years, you've did the amateur market, you're a decorated boxer. Like Carl Froch. Carl Froch hates Jake Paul because Jake Paul brings so much money to the table that hasn't been earned from what he claims that he is. He's not a boxer. He's a YouTuber. He's an influencer, right? He's one of those guys where, he has a lot of Instagram followers, a lot of YouTube followers. I think he has like 46 million. Jake Paul has like, when you got that many subscribers on YouTube, you probably have to post once a month to get the revenue of somebody that probably works his ass off every day. It's just too much. It's just too many views because you have too many subscribers not to be successful. Jake Paul, he started as a Disney kid, so he just didn't start to. He started corporate. So, Kurt, I seen a funny comment about AJ versus Jake Paul. The comment was as follows: Jake adopted Ali's strategy almost perfection. Float like a butterfly, cling to a knee. Yeah, he was clinging to the knee because, he didn't want to get hit. And I think people need to understand Jake Paul didn't come in there to get hit. Jake Paul wanted to be elusive. Jake Paul wanted to get down low. I didn't think he would get that low, though. You know what I mean? If you had to get to a point where you had to grab onto somebody's kneecap, that shit was, yeah, that was bad. That was tough. Yeah. So, salute Kurt. AJ should go fight a real heavyweight, Efe Ajagba. I would like to see him fight Efe Ajagba. But here's the reality of Anthony Joshua. The man has been out of the ring for over a year. And I did wonder if he still had the love for the sport. And it's funny, I have another video that I've already done where he was talking about his self-question of him really wanting to stay in the sport. You know what I mean? And see, the thing is about AJ, I think Anthony Joshua, though, has just made too much money. I know people love Joshua. Everybody loves Joshua, damn near. If you don't love him, you hate him for the same reason people love him. But here's the deal. When you have made that type of money, you get to a point where, it's kind of hard to get hungry. Stay humble, stay hungry. It's hard to be both when you got that type of money. You know what I'm saying? It's just hard to be both when you're making that type of money. He just made 80 million. I don't know. Way up there. He made damn near twice as much as he made $30 million more than Terrence Crawford fighting Canelo Alvarez. Let that shit sink in. You know what I mean? And I know he's a heavyweight and all that, but that's the type of money this dude's bringing in. What about the last fight he fought? Millions. AJ ain't had a fight purse under $5 million since probably 2016, maybe. Wasn't it? When was his? Let's look at his fight purses for a minute. When was the last time Anthony Joshua made $5 million for a fight?
Anthony Joshua has earned much more than $5 million in recent fights. For example, he made around $50 million against Francis Ngannou in March of 2024. He is said to make $92 million against Jake Paul in December of 2025.
So that's not what I ask, but let's see. All right, let's do this. Anthony Joshua's fight purses.
According to USA Today, according to Celebrity Net Worth, Daily Mail, and former UFC champion Michael Bisping, the purse is worth $184 million, where Paul and Joshua will make $92 million apiece for the fight.
That shit's stupid. Um, how much money did Anthony Joshua make to fight Charles Martin?
Anthony Joshua reportedly earned around 5 million British pounds.
There you go.
Which was about 6 to 8 million US dollars at the time, for his fight against Charles Martin in 2016. This was for his first major world title win.
Now, see, that was for the IBF title where Charles Martin was the IBF champion, right? And Charles Martin, let's just be sure, I think he made 8 million. How much money did Charles Martin make to fight Anthony Joshua?
Charles Martin reportedly earned around 3.46 million British pounds, which is over 5 million US dollars, for fighting Anthony Joshua. His earnings could have potentially exceeded 6 million British pounds, or 8.5 million US dollars, including pay-per-view and other income.
So, he had other trickled down, streams of revenue because of the fight. But understand, when was that fight? 2016? He fought that man in 2016. 2016 to 2020, that was 9 years ago. This man ain't made $5 million in a fight purse since then. That tells you, when he fought Andy Ruiz, when he took his first loss when he came to America, I think he made 35 million. But let me look something up real quick just to make sure, because I don't want to give anybody falsified information. Charles Martin beat Glasgow, right? Glasgow, it wasn't even a knockout or an actual win. It was because Glasgow messed up his knee. You know what I mean? He overextended it. He messed it up. He couldn't fight. And then by default, Charles Martin became the IBF heavyweight champion. Then he went overseas, took that damn money. And I commend him, though, because a lot of people didn't do that. I commend guys like Charles Martin, Dominic Brazil, guys like that actually wanted to fight and actually wanted to get paid. Respect to Jake for helping women's boxing. Yeah, he didn't have to do that, but he did that. But I mean, you look at Katie Taylor, you look at Serrano. Those guys are the Mickey Wards versus the Arturo Gattis of today, but for women. That's exactly what that is. Serrano versus Holmes, right? That's like Taylor. Katie Holmes. It's Katie Taylor. Anyway, I'm thinking about Tom Cruise's wife. But anyway, AJ makes way more than Luke Fury. Tyson does his own, but at this point, it's almost like talking about who makes the most money nowadays. It's kind of ridiculous. And the only reason I started the comparison thing between him and Tyson and Wilder is because Wilder was trying to say $12 million was not a lot of money. For $12 million, I would fight 12 times and 12 guys in 12 days. You know what I mean? Like, you can't tell me 12.5 million is slave wages. And what you using slave shit anyway. You never been a slave. That shit gets me, man. Like, people be with that bullshit, and I'm like, yo, why are you talking in terms as though you got in Doc Brown's time machine and you actually experienced some shit? Yeah, racism still exists, but you don't have to bring that shit up every fucking breath. It pisses me off. Kurt, Akali is fighting Teta in Nigeria today, currently on DAZN. Oh, that's cool. Revelation TV, that's cool. Teta, he should win that fight. But then Teta's a tough customer. But I mean, it should be coming on pretty soon because Nigeria is what? 7 hours ahead, 8 hours ahead. And what time is it in Nigeria? What time is it in Nigeria?
The time in Nigeria is 9:11 p.m.
It's 9 in the morning. It's 9:11 in the morning. Dark Slagle, 5979. Kurt, I love you, brother. Pure truth. Yeah, man. You just got to keep it real with that, man. Like you know, I'm not, you know, it's crazy with people. I identify with a lot of people and I understand what people say. Like I'm the kind of person, like you're dealing with like Jake Paul. I know that man took that money he took it for money, but he wanted people to understand that he was a fighter. He got tired of people calling him a YouTuber. You know what I mean? So he took that fight with AJ to prove, because he thought he could hurt him. He tried to hit him. I mean, you guys seen the short. He hit AJ and AJ didn't fucking budge. That's why I knew, Jake, you're a good puncher. I think Jake can punch. We seen Tyron Woodley get knocked out too, didn't it, by Silva? So you can't say he can't punch. However, I'll tell you this. He does not belong at heavyweight. He does not belong there. He just doesn't belong there because he's going to get hurt again. He's just going to get hurt again. You know, whatchamacallit, I made a video today and I compared Jake Paul to what he could have been. Jake Paul could end up like Kell Brook, and you don't want that. You got you're just a permanently damaged guy. Then ain't no luck for you, no hope for you, because you can't get back in the ring because you've suffered an injury or injuries that you know that'll be vital to your health. See, Kell Brook didn't fight for the longest, and even when he did, all you got to do is hit him in the eye. Terrence Crawford, probably that was Terrence Crawford's. Everybody talks about the Gamboa fight, but you don't talk about the Kell Brook fight. The Kell Brook fight was actually rather difficult for Crawford. Crawford wasn't the bigger guy. Kell Brook was. They both were counter punches, you know, and he was catching Terrence Crawford because they were both counter punches. So if you got a guy waiting, you know, that's why I would like to see Lara versus Terrence if he would have stayed fighting, because it would have been an interesting fight, because you would have seen two guys that are waiting to counter each other, right? So when he did fight Kell Brook was beating him to the punch until he caught Kell Brook and finally countered him. But he had to take some shots to land that shot. But when he caught him, he hit him right in the eye. He knew exactly where to hit him, because this dude's had this side of his orbital bone broken and this side of his orbital bone broken. On both sides, his shit was broke. So all you got to do is reopen that shit, and it crushed right back in, because he's had damage on both sides of his face. One from Gennady Golovkin, the other one from Errol Spence. That's a bad combination. You've been in there with some heavy hitters, bro. You were dealing with a prime Errol Spence, and a mad ass bigger Gennady Golovkin. Yeah, it was bad. And for Jake Paul trying to talk about going to cruiserweight, that could happen to him. He needs to take his time. Please don't rush. Right? He needs to take his time to heal. Because that punch he took from AJ, yeah. Yeah, he took that punch. Just shows how deluded Paul is. He KOs Woodley, and that made him think he can KO AJ. Very deluded. Well, he just got it wrong. He made a mistake. Jake Paul thought that he can do something that he found out he clearly couldn't do. One thing I want people to pay attention to about Jake Paul, and I'm going to do a poll about Jake. Let me do it right now. Let's do the shit right now. Hold on. As Jake Okay, so that's okay. Start the poll. All right. Okay, now, so Jake wanted to prove a point, and he broke his jaw. And I told people before the fight, didn't I? Or did I not? If Jake gets hurt, it's gonna be because of us. Why? Because he wanted to prove to us that he was a real fighter. He wanted to prove that he can fight a legitimate, ranked, in, not out of prime, younger fighter. And I'll say this. When he fought Tommy Fury, he showed what level he was on. You know what I mean? And him saying, no, I'm more than that. See, people looked at him as a YouTuber, and I think that angered Jake. I think, when he heard, man, you ain't nothing but a YouTuber, it angered him. Danny Dubois called me a YouTuber. You know what I mean? Facts. Danny Dubois was like, Danny Dubois referred to me as a YouTuber. You know what I mean? Now, for me to say I'm not a YouTuber and I go fight him, then he beats me, what would that mean? Does that really mean I'm a fighter? Now, if I go and whoop Daniel Dubois, if I go whoop Daniel, wouldn't that catapult me as being exactly what I said I was? Jake, here's the truth. Do you look at Jake Paul? That's why I put this poll up. Do you look at Jake Paul as a legitimate fighter, or a guy that got in over his head and he's not a fighter and he's really just an influencer and a, YouTuber? You can't continue to fall and hug knees. Jake is a boxer, but he's nowhere near on an elite level. Well, I think this is what Jake should do after he heals, which I think won't happen, but I think this is what he should do. I think he should take his time, and I think he should do the right thing. He's already broke jaws and stuff like that. He may just retire, but he said he'll be back, right? So since Jake said he will be back, this is what Jake should do. Jake should then go back to the drawing board, get him a legitimate trainer, and start him in the rankings the right way. The money alone, he will make more money. The problem is he's already started at the top. He jumped the queue. Jake jumped the queue, which he shouldn't have ever done, because now his expectations are always going to be, I want to fight the biggest and the best fighter out there, where he is not ready technically, skill-wise, or any otherwise to fight the best in probably any of those weight classes. But he wants to do it anyway. Now, credit to him. He has speed and he has power. And he was knocked down multiple times by AJ. It just wasn't that one time and boom, it was over. No. He was really, like a lot of those grabs, those knee grabs, those ankle grabs, a lot of that went from getting hit, and he didn't like getting hit to the body. So he went for a clinch, but he couldn't clinch because he didn't want to get hit either. See, he was trying to fight on the inside until he felt one of those uppercuts from AJ, and AJ was like, okay, and then as soon as he felt it, he was like, oh, well, let me go ahead and grab him lower. Let me grab him at his waist, because I don't want to get hit with something like that. So he got out. Kurt, do you respect Jake as a boxer after the AJ fight? JB, that's a good question. I'd say this. Jake, you can't say that Jake ain't been in there with nobody like Worthy or Abel, right? You can't say because he's been in there with Joshua, but what happened? He got beat. Tommy Fury, undefeated fighter, young, his age. What happened? He dropped Tommy Fury, but he got beat. I think Jake Paul, as a fighter, right? As a fighter, not a YouTuber, not an influencer, not a promoter, none of that. As a fighter, Jake Paul is at a minimum level. And I think he needs to understand what level he's on. He's nowhere near the elite level. Is he a boxer? Yeah, he's a boxer now, but how good of a boxer? You got to give Jake Paul the same respect as any other fighter that claims they're a fighter. And who in his career, on his resume, that he fought that was worthy of calling himself a boxer? Tommy Fury, he lost. Anderson Silva, which actually is known as a what? a martial artist, a UFC fighter that transitioned over to boxing. You know, you would put him, I wouldn't say the Francis Ngannou level, because Anderson Silva's way above that. He's just a special fighter overall. So that's his best win. That's Jake's best win right there. It ain't Mike Tyson. Are you sick? It's not his, no. His best win is Anderson Silva. But understand, Anderson Silva was 47 years old. You know what I mean? So you're still fighting someone that, for one, is way past their prime, you know, and there's no way of telling if he would have done it before because you didn't fight him when he was 35 or 36. You know, Jake Paul was what, 25? When he fought him, he was like, he had 20 years on Jake. So that's his best win, and that was against somebody that was way past their prime anyway. But he gets the same respect as anybody that claims that they're a good fighter or a fighter. See, it's one thing to be a fighter, but it's another thing to be a good one, a successful one. And for right now, he's 1-2, right? Because he's lost twice to people that he claims that he was on the level as. He claimed that he was on the level as Tommy Fury, and Tommy Fury is nowhere near the level. AJ was coming off a long layoff, and he had him by what, 43 to 16. He had him by 30 pounds, right? No, damn near 30 pounds he had him. And that's Anthony Joshua, man. People act like that dude don't have a high-ass knockout percentage. If he ain't been knocked out, he's knocked somebody out. That's a dangerous fight for anybody. If he would have just fucking waited and took his time, he could have knocked out Danny Dubois. That's something to think about, but he didn't do it. He rushed. He did what he did against Andy Ruiz. He got anxious and overzealous, and he got caught like he did in both fights. So do I respect Jake after that? We now know what it's like for him to fight someone of age, not a senior citizen. You know, he will get the juice from me when he beats somebody that is close to his age or is in his prime. But I mean, as a fighter, I mean, if he was a fighter, what would you call Jake? You know, below average? You know what I mean? Below average, average, below average, one of those. Notice how silent Luke Fury is once again after all that talk was doing about AJ before the fight. We ain't heard Tyson Fury say shit, and I think it's weird. You know, Tyson Fury might be high. He might be somewhere coked up. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. Tyson Fury, if Jake Paul would have knocked out AJ, that would have been the first person you would have seen. You would have heard it from him. You would have heard it Saturday morning. Hey guys, I'm up for a jog. So you're the big doss. I got knocked out by Jake Paul, the YouTuber. Like I told you, he's not in my league. I'll end him. But I can't because Jake Paul already did it. Daniel Local Dubois already did it. Fat ass Andy Ruiz already did it. So he's not anywhere near my level. So you guys need to stop mentioning his name with me. He's jogging. Sucker. Right, he will be happy as hell. Now you don't hear nothing from him because AJ won. Just like you didn't hear anything from Tyson Fury for a while when AJ knocked out Francis Ngannou. But when he did speak of AJ, what did he say? AJ's a big dosser. I just want people to know that. Okay. Where'd that come from, Tyson? That's all I wanted to say. He's a big dosser. Kurt Joshua looked absolute shit, for fuck's sake. Thought you knew boxing. I didn't say he looked good. I never said AJ looked good. I said if Jake Paul would have whooped AJ, you would have heard from Tyson Fury first. and we ain't heard nothing. You're not paying attention. You're reading into something that doesn't exist. You're reading a book. A rematch? Hell no, he don't want no rematch. What, he's gonna get his eye broke now? I like that Jake Paul gets his fighters active and exposed on his undercards. XK Shots, what's good, man? Everything's good. Everything's good. But no, AJ was out of the ring for how long? That man was out of the ring for over a year. Fury got whooped by an MMA guy on his boxing debut. That's true. That's why he looks so bad about the shit that he does. See, he needs to realize something, man. Tyson Fury's supposed to beat the shit out of Francis Ngannou. He's supposed to show Francis why he didn't belong in the squared circle. Period. He should have showed Francis Ngannou what boxing is about. You remember when Sergio Martinez did a number on Chavez Jr.? You remember how he just schooled him, made him understand, like, yo, this is boxing, bitch. This is how it goes. This is how you box. And he boxed him, except for the last round, he got caught, and and Julio, because his dad was out there cussing at him. He say, you fucking my legacy up, boy. That's what he was doing. You know what I mean? And then he actually started throwing shots, and he caught him, but he survived and won the fight. But no, that's what Tyson's supposed to done to Francis Ngannou. Just like Calzaghe did to Jeff Lacey back in the day, he's supposed to done the same damn thing. Aries Zodiac Boxing 6669. Peace and blessings, my good brother. Keep up the great work. Appreciate you, Aries Zodiac Boxing. You guys want to hear good storytelling? Go to Aries Zodiac Boxing. He has long videos. And in fact, I was looking and I was thinking, like, damn, he got some long videos. But it's great if you travel like me, because I drive a lot. So you guys know I do a lot of driving. So you want to hear good storytelling and good boxing from somebody that's true and gritty. Aries Zodiac Boxing. Go subscribe to his channel. Nikki Blue Eyes Austin 3683. AJ even said he wasn't good. What the F are you talking about? Look. This is one thing we don't want to do. And this is what grinds my gears. If the fighter says, yo, I deserve criticism. I know I did wrong. It wasn't my best performance. You know what I mean? If they're already telling on themselves, what point is it for you to add insult to injury to say some more shit that they've already said? That's annoying. That's some annoying shit. It's like, yeah, man, I was bad. I didn't use my jab like I should have. I should have cut off the ring. I should have took a step back knowing that he was going to come forward to try to grab me. I could have took that half step back and countered. There was a lot of things that I shouldn't have done. That's what I should have done. And then after that, you hear everybody else saying exactly what you just said. Yeah, man, you should have cut the fucking ring off. You should have done all this and this. You should have done it. It's like, dude, I just said that. I just said the same shit that you're woofing right now. You're saying the same shit that I said. AJ is the face of boxing. I think too, people are I know a lot of people though are hurt because of the Canelo got beat by Crawford and then Crawford retired. So then that means all the people that loved Canelo, you know what I mean? He'll never get his opportunity. You know what I mean? He'll never get his opportunity again, because I think Terrence is done. And I think the best thing that he can do is stay gone. Don't come back. You don't want to be like Floyd. You don't want to be like Tyson, the Gypsy King. You don't want to be like them cats, because when you keep saying stuff and then going back on something that you made you sound indecisive, for one. For two, it's like your words don't mean anything when you say something and then you don't do it. Like, give you a prime example, like, raising kids. I tell anybody that if I've had stepchildren, I've helped raise girls' kids, and I've got kids. And when I hear someone say, "Hey, you do that again, I'm gonna beat your ass," but you don't do it, what does that mean? What does that child learning? That child is learning, I've heard that before. You know what I mean? So they do it again and you don't do it, then guess what? You're the one in the wrong because you said you were going to do something and you're not doing it. So if they do it, then they're going to understand, oh yeah, she's just talking. Just like someone in the sport, hey, I'm retired. I'm not fighting again. This is my retirement. It's been real. Love you guys. Andre Ward, for example. And people hate him for some reason. What the fuck you hate Andre Ward for? I can understand Carl Froch because he got his ass schooled. He got beat by Andre Ward. He just wasn't a better fighter. Right? But then that's just like him saying, well, hey, man, 2 years later, hey, I'm back. Then he retires again. Then I'm back. Then, then the retirement statement coming from you don't mean much. It's not warranted. People don't respect it because they don't really believe what you said because why? You said it before. Fury's camp for Ngannou was probably like Rocky's when he had all the girls and pinball machines and cameras. He did not prep for Ngannou. Maybe, but then he should have fought Ngannou again, but that would have wasted more time for Undisputed. So people would have, I know I would have been pissed off. You're fighting Ngannou again? Nah, man. But it's crazy. Ngannou, though, I don't think that, I think Ngannou should take his time. And he's like 40 years old, isn't he? How old is Ngannou? Somebody tell me how old Francis Ngannou is. Francis Ngannou. He's 39. He'll be 40 next year. Anyone who made fun of about Fury bad performance versus Ngannou is throwing Mike under the bus since he got knocked out by bums. Jax Mans, counterpunch to you, my brother. Exactly, Kurt. They just want to hate and be negative. It's dumb. Squabble. Robert in the house. Can't blame AJ on this one. Jake Paul ran like a bitch. Well, he did run. AJ could have done more, but he said that he could have done more. See, it's different if he's delusional, meaning he ain't even pointing out the things that he did wrong, or admitting that he didn't do a great job. And basically what that means is, yeah, I did a shitty job, bro. It wasn't the best job performance, but I got the job done. I knocked the dude out like I said I was going to do. I beat him up. I broke his fucking jaw. He got 7 teeth removed. His jaw's broken in 2 places. What else the fuck do you want me to do? He grabbed on for dear life. He ran like Conor McGregor most of the time. So again, what would you want me to do? What else do you want? No, it wasn't a good performance. I give it a C. I give that a C. I give that an 84. I give AJ's performance an 84% against Jake Paul. That's what I give it. An 84%. Matisse 19. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. XK shots. Otto Weiland and Jake Paul both beat Ngannou. Well, Ngannou turned the fight down. Ngannou was one of the guys that Jake Paul wanted. Then he turned it down. I don't know about Otto Weiland. If I'm Otto Weiland and my people turned it down, I would have to kind of question my people. Because that's a money fight. You can say what you want. Floyd, Money Mayweather said it best. Man, we're prize fighters. You fight for the purse, and the purse is the money that's coming from whoever's paying it. And that's all the deductions, all the taxes, all the sanctioning fees, all the other deductions, you know, the camp, the hotels, the corner, the gym, all of that shit is coming out of the fight purses. See, what you understand, you guys need to understand, when those checks come out, that check is getting dissected in many ways. It's like you look at it like a pie chart. So let's say someone makes $6 million. That's $6 million for one, taxes. Boom, damn near half of that's gone anyway. So if you're looking at 3, you're actually looking at 6. 6, you're actually looking at 3. Over here in the Americas, and I know you guys over in the UK, you guys invented the fucking tax. Well, I know Rome did actually, but you guys came to the Americas with the fucking taxes. That's why the big war was supposed to be, and they decided after they won, oh, that really ain't a bad idea. Let's use taxes. Fucking morons, right? So at the end of the day, half of that check's gone from taxes. Then if you are a ranked fighter, there's the sanctioning fees, the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, the WBO, the IBO. Like those are sanctioning fees that they want the 3% for. So if you're ranked whichever one, if the WBC, that's 3% off the top. Okay, so that is that. Then you got to pay your trainer. Then you got to pay your cut man and all that. You got to pay the gym fees. And they're supposed to get a percentage of that. So they're getting a percentage. Taxes, sanctioning fees. Oh, guess what? There's more. Promoters. What about your fucking promoter? You got to pay him too. So that $6 million comes into maybe 2.1 maybe. By the time you pay everybody, you might cover and clear $2 million. 2.1, $2.2 million. Right? Out of that 6 million. That's crazy. USA loves AJ now. Well, to be fair, this is the first time that he's won in America. And he did it against Jake Paul, which Jake Paul is very known in America. So Jake, it was one of the people, sadly to say, he was one of the boxers that represented American boxing. He was the resistance. Him, Floyd Mayweather, right? Who else? Oscar was on that bandwagon until he got off, until he realized like Turkey does run shit. So he jumped off of that. But other than that, you had Jake Paul, you had Floyd Mayweather, Tank Davis, guys like that. They were still repping the USA. That didn't want to go overseas and get their ass whooped on the zone, Kurt, why the Tank versus Paul fight didn't happen, and who you think would have won that and how? I don't know, because I'm not convinced that Tank is a huge puncher like that. I know he's small, he's compact, he's very, very agile, he's talented, but I don't think that his punches would have done anything like AJ's. And that being the case, I think Jake would have took Gervonta's punches like AJ took his. That makes sense. I think the same thing, Tank hitting him as hard as he could, he would have caught him flush. If he was going to drop Jake Paul, it would had to be with a punch that Jake didn't see, and it had to be a lot of them that landed. Yes, I am happy Jake Paul got smashed, but I wish it was Wilder who did it. I bet you do, because you like Deontay Wilder, but who knows? I don't know what Wilder's going to do. I just hope he's prepping for I hope he's just prepping for whatchamacallit. Usyk, dude. Robert in the house. Thanks for saving me 20,000. I told you that. You're welcome. Robert, you're welcome. Because I told you, I said, nah, man, don't do it. Don't do that shit. $20,000 is a lot. It looks a lot better in your account. And thank you. I said it's better for you to donate than lose $20,000. I don't want you to be looking like Showbiz the adult. The man does good with his channel, but I don't give a fuck how good you do with the money, the amount of money you make. $20,000 is $20,000. You know, you have to be about that gambling lifestyle. I'm not. He's a gambler. I'm not a gambler. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'm not on that level. You know, so if you ask me, a guy that don't gamble, hey, don't do it. There you go. That's just like almost asking somebody, man, that doesn't drink. Man, I think I'm going to go to the bar. You think I should? Nah. Because, I mean, that person doesn't drink, so that person will always tell you, nah, it's not worth it. Go ahead and drink a water with lemon. Slice some cucumber up or some shit like that. You know? Oscar Henao. Hello, Big Kurt. How is all? Sitting here in Norway with my bong chilling. Damn, in Norway, huh? Counterpunch in Norway. Kurt, give Kurt that $20,000. We all appreciate it. Man, I wouldn't want you to. I wouldn't want that much money from somebody like that. You can give me some of it, but I wouldn't want 20,000 from someone. And I surely wouldn't want somebody to donate it through YouTube. YouTube's gonna take 30% of that shit. Sugar Joe Sniff, Parker. Sugar Joe Sniff, Parker. Oh God, that's James Jameson 6181 was set up by Fish Eyes. No, imagine that. Frank Warren. Hey Joe, take some of this. Take some of this nose candy. It's good. You play in the snow? Do you play in the snow? Come on, you hang around Tyson, don't you? So you play in the snow. I play in the snow. See? Poll shows 69 cents saying no. Well, 67% says no out of 92 votes. So almost 100 votes. Jake ain't earned the respect by you guys of the masses. I wonder who Ben will fight next. I think he'll fight Catterall. I would like that fight. Actually, I think that would be a dope fight, bro. Jack Catterall versus Conor Benn. Yeah, that's a good fight. Especially, see, you have Catterall. Catterall is a counter puncher. You know, he fights a lot like Erislandy Lara. And Conor is a guy that comes forward. So that gives Catterall opportunity. Because Conor Benn is aggressive. He's overzealous. He's eager. He's too eager at times. So I see a good fight happening because there's a lot of opportunities. Because Conor's going to make his by coming forward and, you know, going to the body and all he does. The Mike Tyson, the shit that he does. Jack Catterall, since Conor will be coming forward, he can time him coming in. I see a fun fight all the way through. You know what I mean? And see, here's the thing. Shakur Stevenson versus Tio, that shit's not even, I'm gonna cover it, like, but it's not going to be. I don't like Tio. I don't. I used to like Tio. I stopped liking Tio when he beat Loma. He turned into a diva. Then he broke down. Then he got his ass whooped. Then he broke down again. Right? Then he turned into a racist or been a racist. And now this is what we have. Now we have Tio has turned into Hector Camacho Sr., not Junior, because Junior was never really that bad. It was always his dad with the, macho time, and all that. So No, I don't really care for T.O. like that. You know, there are numerous channels that love T.O. So yeah, you can catch that, but yeah, you won't get too much coverage from T.O. over here. You know, I see Ben destroying him. I would like to see Ben fight Ryan. You know, I like Ben though. I like Conor Ben. Even though I do think Chris Eubank Jr. did that shit solely for the money. That dude, he's out of recovery now. This man's still in the hospital. That boy was about to die. That being said, I don't think that it's one of those things where Chris should have been fighting. Yeah, but being full of eggs, you get me, bro. Well, yeah, I mean, he was cheating. Like most of those guys, you know, get caught with shit in their system. He sure did. The Duke McKenzie would punch Conor Ben inside out. Of course, Jake earned respect. That shot would have knocked out a lot of professional heavyweights. That defeat means more than his previous victories. He got balls. Well, there you go, man. Vote. Vote. That's what the poll's up for. We got 99 votes. Catterall is one of Hearn's boys and probably too high risk, low reward. Good fight, though. Well, they're both Hearn boys, so it should be an easy fight to make. Yeah, I like that fight between Catterall and Conor Ben. That's a good fight. AJ seems to enjoy letting it build up. I didn't think Ben is high enough profile for Garcia or Haney. Beating Catterall. Catterall could put him up there. Haney and Ben would be a good fight. Shakur Stevenson. Now, who did he fight? Was it what was the kid, the electrician he fought? British fighters are on fire at the moment thanks to Turkey's money. Sadly, Ben saying he don't want that Haney fight. Well, that's kind of strange because Haney has one of the belts, right? He took the belt off Brian Norman. And Brian Norman showed that he was nowhere near the level that Haney was on. But yeah, I don't care what anybody says, though, man. Haney fought scared. He fought too cautious. He fought as though he didn't want to knock out Brian. So basically, all the shit that they did before then, all the pushing, the shoving, the grappling, and the tussling and all that shit, that should have been expressed in the ring. As soon as he dropped Norman with that left hook, he should have went at him and finished him. He's just not exciting, bro. I would enjoy Bill Haney talking than watch him fight. I do think that Ryan Garcia fight affected him though, because you remember when he fought was it Ramirez, right? He fought scared as shit, like he was a damaged fighter, like he was afraid to get hit. You know? Be honest, Shakur and Haney gay as F, man. Nah, they're just not exciting fighters to me. I'm not talking about their sexual preference. I don't give a shit about that. Quan Bum, stop coping. Jake had 35 years youth advantage on Mike. If anything, Jake didn't want to hurt him and get even more hate. Well, I mean that's true. He could have hurt Mike, but people, man, somebody again, like I told people, somebody would have shot Jake. You don't do shit like that to Mike Tyson. It's people that Mike Tyson has never met would be the people that would be charged with murder for killing Jake Paul. Because Jake Paul, if he would have done that to Mike, they would have looked at a younger guy taking on a what? An older guy, a much older guy. And it's crazy because it's a lose-lose. It's a lose-lose, man. Miller did better versus Ruiz and Dubois. He probably would have beaten AJ. Yeah, 6-7 years ago when he fought him. 6 years ago. Kurt, you have more subscribers than Hatman, but he lives usually have hundreds more than But his lives usually have hundreds more than yours. Why do you think that is? YouTube doesn't seem correct to me. Man, don't get me started on that. I mean, Hatman has, and it's crazy. If you want to compare, because I watch Hatman, Hatman has about 90,000 subscribers now. He probably just reached 90. Whereas we've probably been, for a while, me and Hatman have probably done, he has a bigger audience that's local to the UK, I feel. You know what I mean? And great channel. Like, he knows boxing. I think he amateured boxing and all that stuff. He has a big Patreon following too, so he's more than just YouTube. Whereas me, I think the lives, I've had issues with live streams. Not everyone gets the notifications. And even the meetings I have with YouTube, because you have to chat to talk to them. You can't talk to them, you have to chat with them. And when they chat, they tell me, well, it's 14,000 people that have notifications. Only like 14,000 and something. And I'm thinking, well, that's not a lot compared to over 90,000. So I'm like, well, what happens to the other 60, 70,000? And I don't know. So the sad thing is, when people ask, man, I'll subscribe to your channel. I appreciate it. But it doesn't mean much if you don't hit the bell, hit the notification. It doesn't mean much. If you don't hit the notification and you subscribe, that means you won't get the next video notification. And you won't know that I'm live. And YouTube had an issue with me going live. They don't push them out. And I think my channel changed significantly when shorts started being pushed, because I didn't do a lot of shorts. And the shorts that they were trying to push, they were trying to compete with TikTok. And a lot of people started complaining about the numbers were down. That's why you seen guys like Showbiz. He did like a damn short every day because he wanted people to still come to the channel. And that's what YouTube was pushing. They were pushing shorts. But shorts don't get paid anything either. You may see an ad every 4 or 5 shorts when someone cares to view your channel. That sits on the dollar. You're not getting anything. I got 5,000 views for this. What is that? Like 78 cents. You're like, damn. So a lot has changed with YouTube. Quality over quantity, Kurt. Hatman tells you every scenario that claims he got it right. Counterpunch boxing is the best. Avatar Dillian, appreciate you, brother. I like another UK guy now. His name is Duke McKenzie, a former fighter. He talks a lot of sense. for a UK guy. Well, most fighters too. You didn't like Carl Froch wasn't big then. You know, he kind of crept on the radar, and a couple other channels that just kind of popped up, which, you know. No, Kurt, the reason is Hatman keeps hating on specific fighters like Fury, and the haters like it. And he probably just do it for the views. Well, that's just the audience too. See, the audience has to also dislike the fighter that the content creator's making. So a lot of times where, like my channel, didn't really blow up until like 2018. It really didn't change. I had 200 subscribers in 18. March or April of 18. By June of 18, I might have had 2 or 3,000 subscribers. By the end of 2018, I had 9,000 subscribers. By January of 2019, I had 10,000 subscribers. So it just picked up. And that was all really because of Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Dillian White, mostly heavyweights. So that was my niche, and I knew, okay, well, most of these, you know, my biggest audience was the UK. So you talk about mostly UK fighters, where I did Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather, Bernard Hopkins, you know what I mean? Canelo Alvarez, guys like that. Yeah, I still did the stuff. I didn't stop. I didn't only just do UK, but I knew those were my audience, and that's what my audience cared for. So you have to appeal to your audience, period. Duke McKenzie is a 3-weight world champion. Kurt knows more about boxing than them other boys. Raf's good, very technical. My man said punch drunk boxing sucks. No, I think Punch Drunk, he loves Teofimo Lopez. I know he loves Teo. But I mean, just like a lot of people say, Fanon sucks. And for Fanon, he hates on Terrence Crawford, you know, the first chance he gets. He was the one that really started that shit with the whole Victor Conti and all that stuff, man, you know? I only watch Counterpunch Boxing Lives only. That's what I'm talking about. Kurt, you have a very nice personality, though. You are agreeable and your manners are top notch. Mac 3490, I appreciate it, man. Hatman is one of, if not the best channel for me. I watch them all. You're good too. Duke is very good, and so is Blue Blood and Showbiz. Yeah, I mean, that is crazy. Me and Blue, we didn't get into it, but he was a part of affiliation that mentioned me a lot, which, you know, we all went on a live one time, and then it kind of just I talk to Blue Blood all the time. He'll send me a message and I'll send him a message or whatever. He'll send me some stuff. I'll send him some stuff. We'll like it and, you know, maybe have a conversation about it, like, you know, over Instagram or something like that, you know. But all those other guys, I just didn't know them. I didn't know who they were. I was on a live panel with the Boxing Voice and Barbershop Conversations, and I didn't know Barbershop Conversations. I never said anything really bad about Barbershop Conversations, and he never said anything bad about me. My whole issue was with people that weren't even in the they weren't even in the LDBC. You know, like Aki, they in Dante's Boxing Nation. They're not LDBC. You know, they used to affiliate with them a while back, but they're not LDBC. Nick Ball, the only UK working champion. Wardley too, but he got it by intimidation. Took it from Usyk like candy from a kid. I want him to fight someone. Let's see how he defends it. Yeah, I can't wait to see who Fabio fights next. I can't wait to see who that is. Counterpunch is the best by miles. No one comes close. Appreciate you, Avatar. Dillian. What do you think about Southpaw TV? I don't watch them. Jack's Man Winners Holiday. Do you think Anthony Joshua will fight on Sufa Boxing? What's Sufa? What is that? YouTube needs time to understand the algorithm working for your channel. I mean, it used to be great. I mean, it has its lows, then it has its highs. But something definitely has to be wrong with the algorithms, because there's no way. It's 2025, right? There is no way in 2025 that I'm probably now averaging maybe 500,000 views or a little bit over a month. Now, versus then it was a 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 million views a month when I had 40,000 or 50,000 subscribers. That doesn't make sense. That makes no sense at all, especially with the live streams. You know, I would think the more subscribers you have, the more notifications go out because it's a bigger audience, right? That's what you would think, but that's, I guess to YouTube, it's wrong. You know, James Jameson 6181 with the £5 love. Kurt, can you give Los D Boxing a shout out? Young Manchester brother trying to build his channel. Shout out to Los D Boxing in the building. Good luck to you and your channel. Peace, Los D. I'm Guyanese. I'm a track and field coach and an English teacher, but I'm obsessed with boxing and I watch all of the channels. I love your content. I suggest you do a bit more analysis like Hatman. Hatman, I've been watching him for a long time. James Jameson, no problem, man. Thank you. Thank you for the love. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. People just have less money in their pockets nowadays. No, because that doesn't stop you, though, from watching. Yeah, it doesn't stop you from watching. You know, and I just think between the shorts and between the competition that YouTube has with, or Google has with TikTok, I think that's what stopped a lot of the algorithms and messed everything up for people. I'm not the only one, though. A lot of people have been complaining about this stuff. You know what I mean? So, you know, and I get asked by other people like, yo, are your views down? You know, but then you start thinking like, well, how does Carl Froch have and get this much exposure? Because his algorithm is different, but it should be the same because these are technically all British channels, or are they all British channels? See, I'm American based, but my audience is the biggest in the UK, but they don't get my stuff most of the time. A lot of people change their vote on your poll. I wonder why. I don't know. That's a good question, because that shit was from 67 to 30 something. Now it's 40% to 60%. It's damn near half and half. Carl gets exposure because we can all have a bit of push and pull. Kurt, you can reclaim to YouTube administrator about the views about your channel. Inbox me on how to do that, because man, I've had meetings with these chats and they're like, well, no, nothing's wrong, nothing, you know. I'm like, well, obviously there's something wrong. You don't have this many subscribers for just people not to look at your shit. Frauchi would love a fight against Jake Paul. Yeah, he would. He said he would. He said he would love to beat up on Jake Paul if the money's there. If the money's secure, he would fight him in a heartbeat. El Kazi 1971. Kurt, baby, been a minute. Yep. What's up, brother? Counterpunch to you. Artorius, AJ, the best. Froch is a hater like most UK guys. Make sense. Crow of Judas. What's up, Crow of Judas? Counterpunch to you. Who would win, David Benavidez versus Anthony Joshua? I think David can give him a go for a while until AJ catches him. You know, because I mean, even at 215, David Benavidez, you know, he would be throwing a lot of leather. I think he could land a lot, but the problem is the punching power. See, I see David Benavidez, you know, he's like one of those guys that accumulates punches on you. The accumulation takes you out, not a one shot. Do you think Jake is going to do good against top cruiserweights? I don't know. I would stay away from Jai Pataya. But he said it himself, he wouldn't fight David Benavidez, so, you know, David would have destroyed him. You imagine the combinations that he could put on Jake Paul? That'd be bad. But even Jake was like, nah, I don't want to fight him. I don't want to fight him. Hey, Kurt, what do you expect from Gervonta Davis next year? Also, you think he is afraid to be great as well? Yeah, he just wants to be rich. He doesn't want to be great. He doesn't know what great is. Floyd never taught him about greatness. Floyd just taught him how to get paid. He ain't teach that guy how to become undisputed, become lineal, become, you know, legendary. Nah, he ain't talking about that shit. He ain't talking about accomplishments and trinkets. He's talking about, hey, if you want to do things, you do it my way. You do it my way. That's what you do. You do it my way. I'm the creme de la creme. I'm the cash cow. I'm going to make you rich. You don't need Lomachenko. Lomachenko needs you. Nah. Now I seen that coming. That would be the other jaw broken. Probably. Jake recent post showed his orbital area all purple and swollen. Yeah, he got punched. Bill Keaveney in the building. Welcome back, brother. What's up, champ? Let's go, champ. Jake recent post showed. Okay, I already got that one. 7 teeth, bro. That's a lot. But, you know, it don't matter. You think a millionaire that loses 7 teeth, you know, hell, Errol Spence supposed to lost all his teeth when he got that wreck. All those are dentures, man. Jake versus Opetaia would be such a bad idea. For Jake, it would. For Opetaia, it would be a rich idea, but I don't think Opetaia would care for a fight with Jake Paul, especially if he's trying to do something else. He's after those belts. He ain't after Jake Paul. The only reason he would want Jake Paul, and if Jake Paul somehow got one of those belts. So let's say he fought Zerto and beat Zerto to get the belt, which I think would be a big stretch for him because Zerto's, I may not like him, but he's a very durable fighter. He can take a lot of shots, you know. That dude has a beard on him. Opetaia would get 85 million like AJ did. If he got 85 million, I think that would really test Opetaia's intention in the sport after he gets that amount of money, because you get 85 million. That's so overwhelming. You fight and you win, or let's say you fight and you win and you get 85 million. It's hard for anybody to tell you when you just secured or just dropped $40 million in the bank. It's hard for someone to tell you what to do, to get up, to work out, to train, to do this, to do that. It's hard for anybody to tell you anything once you have secured that bag like that. It, to me, you know, and Jai Opetaia doesn't even seem like one of those type of people. I'm not saying that, but who knows until it happens. He may get 80 million. Even Gennady Golovkin change. That motherfucker was all about, nah, good boy, drama show. Nah, I want undefeated. I want undisputed heavy middleweight. Soon as he got that money from Canelo Alvarez, that motherfucker dropped one belt on the IBF end because he didn't want to fight for it. The same guy that he ended up fighting later anyway after losing to Canelo Alvarez in the rematch. But that just showed you he didn't care, because the money that he used to make versus the money that he made from Canelo Alvarez were so different that, yeah, it changed his whole mindset. He got rid of Abel Sanchez. He didn't want to fuck with him no more, and it was over money. That's what made it so bad. The shit was over money. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, damn, dude, you didn't have to leave Abel like that. They say Gennady Golovkin drove up to Big Bear, right? And everybody else was like in the back. He drove up, picked up his shit, put it in his car, didn't say nothing to nobody, and drove the fuck off. That's what they say happened with Gennady Golovkin. So, I'm not sure, man. I'm really not sure on that one. AJ has superstar status. Well, this is what I think happened. AJ was already big in the UK and Saudi Arabia and, at parts of Africa, Nigeria, et cetera, et cetera. They knew of Anthony Joshua being the, golden Olympian. They heard of him getting beat by Andy Ruiz. Since then, what has Andy done? Little to none, right? So then AJ comes back and fights Jake Paul. Jake Paul has lit the fire under a lot of people's asses over here. That, that, hey, I am the guy that I say I am. I am him, And then he gets knocked out by that guy, Jake. So everybody that knows Jake may know AJ now. Because a lot of people said, oh, I don't even know who AJ is. I'm like, well, damn, you don't even know Anthony, Josh? It's crazy. Does this fight really do anything for AJ in America? It gets him exposure for people that didn't know him. See, he just knocked out the problem child. He solved the problem of the problem child. AJ did. So, yeah, they know who he is. Look, okay, you don't believe me? Look online right now. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you look, keep scrolling. I guarantee you every 4 or 5 article will have something about Jake Paul getting his ass knocked out, his teeth knocked out, or, or his jaw broken. You're going to see one of those. You're going to see a video. You're going to see a meme. You're going to see all types of shit concerning that guy, and that happened 2 days ago. AJ and Jake Paul. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see that shit. It's everywhere. So yeah, we in the world of social media. First thing people are gonna say, man, who's that big ass black muscled up big neck ass motherfucker that knocked out Jake Paul? If you didn't know who he was, there you go. So then you're gonna say, oh man, he fought Klitschko back. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, he did this, da 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 da. Oh, he's supposed to be fighting Tyson Fury. The stage is set. Because everybody knows Fury from whooping Wilder's ass over here. And Wilder was known over here, right? So there you go. No, man, bro, he's known here. He got a kickstart over here. That's all you've seen in AJ and Paul. And another fight I want to talk to you guys about is Mr. Andrew Tate and Mr. D'Amore. And I will say this, another shit show. Andrew Tate, as much shit as he talked, he's a smart guy. He's very opinionated, successful brother, and all this, that, and the other. But there is a difference, like I told you guys. Well, you haven't seen the video yet because I haven't posted it, because I can't post too many videos in one day. You guys know how it used to be. I could push 7 out and all of them do 5 to 10,000 views. And I be working, bro. I don't be bullshitting. But anyway, there's a difference. Like I said in that video, that Tate talking, there's a difference between him being a fighter versus a rich guy that stays in shape. There's two different, that's not even in the same. I stay in shape, but I'm not in fighter shape. You know what I mean? I can run up these 3 stairs right here of these condos and I won't. No, because I've done that. I get my cardio in. But do I run 5 or 6 miles a day? No, I do not. Those are the type of things that you need to do. Do I work out twice a day? In the morning a circuit, in the evening a circuit. Do I do that? No, I don't. So if Andrew Tate would have, if he had any chance of being successful, he should have done those things. Because you don't just walk around talk about how good you are and how much money you make and the Bugattis that you drive and all this shit, but you can't seem to train like a fighter. And the fighter that he fought was a joke. Demore couldn't fight for shit. He fought like a schoolgirl sissy. That's how he fought. Andrew Tate was disappointing too. It was a shit show. They, like watching Danny McBride and, you know, one of his sitcoms on HBO. He fought the champion of something. I don't know what the champion he was a champion of, but he got his ass whooped. You seen Tate? Tate looks jacked up right now. He looks like a beat up Mr. Potato Head. He looked bad, and he's 39. So really at 39, that's not old enough to be looking the way he looks. He just has bad form, and if he wants to take this shit seriously, he has to go get trained by somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing. I don't know who he was with the shit like this with the fucking head up in the air, bro. You're asking to get knocked out and hurt bad. And he's just lucky that Demore didn't capitalize on it like he did. Now he did when he found out, oh, he has no movement to his head. Bip, bip. That's what happened. Tate lost to a pink glove cummerbund hair dude. Man, that does bother me, but you're right. He wasn't ready. Yeah, he should have had more stamina. He should have been ready. He should have been ready. Tuck his chin at least. Christ. The dude was just asking, please knock my ass out. Here he is. I'm like, what? What are you doing? Tuck your chin, come in. Tuck your chin while you move in. And you know what that's for, right? When you tuck your chin, that's stopping your chin. If you do get hit, right? That's stopping it from moving all over the damn place. You know what I'm saying? That's what stops you from getting knocked out. Because when you do get hit in your chin is going to hit your neck or your chest. That's why people tell you, aim for the chest. Because that's where your chin's supposed to be. Boxing 101, bro, that shit, fuck that. That ain't even 101. It's like boxing 98, 99. Keep your head off the center line. This motherfucker was up. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? How much years you think Anthony Joshua will stay in boxing? 2 or 3. But I don't see him fighting. I don't see him fighting anyone else after Tyson Fury, to be fair with you. I don't see AJ fighting anyone else after he gets that. If they fight, the only thing I see happening, if he whoops Tyson Fury's ass, he may have to fight Tyson again. So you may get, if you get one fight from Tyson Fury and AJ, more than likely to get that one fight, they have to be signed contractually for a rematch. So you may have 2 fights. But after that, I don't see him fighting Kabayel or any of those other guys. He's not that crazy because he knows those dudes will fuck him up more than likely. Ask Bud how hard you have to train. Exactly. Ask Floyd. Ask Manny Pacquiao. Ask Mickey, Irish Mickey Ward. Andre Ward. Those guys train. They don't bullshit around. Timothy Bradley ran 23 hours straight one time because he wanted to know how much he can push himself. Do you imagine the stamina you need to run 23 hours? He ain't a fucking marathon man. That's not his profession. That's not his sport. You know that's a sport, right? Running. Fury prefers to talk. Maybe. But I will say, if you don't hear nothing from Tyson Fury tomorrow, Monday, if you don't hear Monday, something's wrong. Bud still pound for pound number 1. I think he'll rematch Canelo for $100 million, then retire. I don't think he needs that money. Because see, Terrence Crawford again. I think Terrence spends more money on plane tickets than anything else. Plane tickets and like apartment or hotel fare. Other than that, I don't think he spends a lot of money. Now he has kids, so they take up a lot of money, but nah. He can't be pound for pound if he's retired. That's fine. He was once pound for pound one of the best fighters ever, or if not the best fighter ever. Terrence Bud Crawford. Ask Alexander Usyk. Alexander, the best in the world is Crawford. And he said it. He didn't talk about himself. He didn't talk about himself. He talked about the other fight. He said, no, I'm not the best in the world. Terrence Crawford is the best in the world. I love the respect, man. You shout out to Usyk, bro. Shout out to Usyk and shout out to Terrence Crawford, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's rare to see people give each other props like that. You know what I mean? Hell, they're not, and there's no reason or proximity reason, meaning Tyson Fury ain't Ukrainian. You know what I mean? Usyk is not American, but real recognizes real. That's what I love about that, man. CJ Rich Boxing and BS. How Roy Jones feel about the fight? Impression. Okay. Oh. Well, first of all, I think AJ was just way too big. Jake Paul, he bit off more than he can chew. He couldn't chew it. He tried to hit him. He hit him. It's like hitting a brick wall. AJ kept coming, and we seen AJ fall. So, we seen Danny Dubois take him down with one big shot. Jake Paul threw that same punch. He didn't budge. Look, there's a reason why heavyweights is heavyweights and everything else is everything else. Because if you think you a heavyweight and you try to balloon up in weight and you ain't got the power of a heavyweight, you're going to see and you're going to be like Jake Paul. Jake Paul ass got 7 teeth removed because he thought he could fight heavyweight. He fought Anthony Joshua. His legs, his arms, his damn fucking neck is huge. They thick. That dude can hit you and he can knock you out like John Fury said with his dick. Bars. But what I'm telling you is this guy here, he thought he bit off more than he could chew. He know what to do now. He need to go back to cruiserweight. He can fuck around with Apataya. It might happen again, but hey, that's what it is. Just like me, my little old self. I went to heavyweight, but I had to be careful with John the Quiet Man, because the Quiet Man ain't really the Quiet Man, because the Quiet Man is really a live roaring lion. He was just tough, but he was big. I know one move, if I move right instead of left or left instead of right, I could be knocked out that night. Now, I knew that, so I had to be precise, but he ain't no Roy Jones. Jake Paul would never be Roy Jones Jr. Roy Jones Jr. is to the best. I'm the best. I'm the TBE. I'm the best ever. Really, I'm the best ever before the best ever was the best ever. I was that guy. I was that dude, the fighter of the decade in the 90s. I was that dude that kicked every ass. They had to take it from me. They robbed me about a DQ because Montel didn't want to get up because he a little bitch. Don't worry about it. I was still undefeated in my mind and my heart, and everybody knew that I beat him twice. So it don't matter to me. So Jake Paul and AJ, it shouldn't have ever been. That's Roy Jones Jr. AJ never ran from Usyk. He was the fighter on the front foot. AJ run back. Let's see. Kurt, how do you think Ike Ibeabuchi would do in the 80s of heavyweights? Ike Ibeabuchi would have been successful in any era. I think Muhammad Ali would have gave him problems. And if he was in this era, probably Tyson Fury, when Tyson Fury was in his prime. So maybe the 2022 or 2021 version of Tyson, maybe. But then here's the problem. The problem is Tyson Fury was training under Kronk style. So he was more aggressive. So since he was more aggressive, I think Ike, he would have slowed down enough for Ike to probably catch him and hurt him. You know. That was comedy. And that's Roy Jones Jr., man. That's Roy Jones. Roy went to heavyweight too. But the problem is he didn't stay, and I think he didn't stay because he respected where he was at. You had guys like Mike Tyson that would have hit Roy and knocked him out with one shot. You had bigger guys like Lennox Lewis with probably the same result. There was not going to be anything like that, man. You should have your own comedy show. AJ was up on the scorecards going into the 10th. 10 rounds, Fury barely made it to the 10th round. Kurt, do you think Michael Spinks losing that way to Mike ruined his legacy? No, I don't. If Jake had went against Tank, there wouldn't have been a knockdown. It would have ended up as a decision win for Tank. If Jake was able to take some of AJ's hardest punches, then he will handle Tank's very own as well. Well, I'll tell you this. A fight like that, I don't know. I think Jake Paul would have had a better chance against Gervonta. But I will say this: who would you rather get beat by, AJ the bigger guy or Gervonta the smaller guy? AJ the bigger guy, because it wouldn't make it doesn't look as bad. Bro, the dude is 6'6", 243 pounds. And he catches you. He has a knockout. What's his wins? I don't know. Shit, 26 and 23, 4 losses, right? Something like that. Do we know who Apatai is next? We don't. We don't know who that is. Muhammad Ali versus Lennox Lewis. I'm gonna take Muhammad Ali all day. How you think Jai Patai would do at heavyweight? I think he would do pretty good. I think he needs, like other fighters, like Usyk had to. He needed to acclimate to the division. Get him a couple fights first that are not too damn hard to see where he's at. We need fighters like the 70s and 90s back. This era is too limited. We need fighters like this. We got that. If Damian upsets, I get Caballo. That would be crazy. Yeah, but it also shows, though, derailment. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me because a lot of these fighters, they get frustrated and you don't know how frustrated they are until they get whooped, because that meant they weren't focused on the fighter at hand. They were focused on the fighter that they wanted to fight. And the fighter that they wanted to fight may be right behind the fighter that they're not taking right seriously, right up in close and personal, and they pay the price for that shit. My 16-year-old could KO this Damian guy. Caballo chose. Caballo win for sure. Well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens with that, and that's in a couple weeks, right? Yeah, about 3 weeks. Roy versus Hagler. Roy Jones, bro. Roy wouldn't have, Hagler wouldn't have beat Roy. Because Roy was everything Leonard was plus power. See, Roy Jones Jr. was powerful at 168. Powerful at 175. I am actually worried for Jake. That knockout is actually worse than if it was a good night KO. What do you think? I don't know. I have no idea. CJ Boxing and BS, welcome to Counterpunch Silver in the building. Go over to the membership pad. Thank you for becoming a member. We got a lot of fun stuff over on the the friendship tab, so feel free to check those out. Man, thank you for the support. But Jake Paul, man, back to him. He needs to heal. It's crazy he got knocked out like that. I think people expected that, honestly, and they got what they expected. It could have just been a little earlier, but who cares? You know, really, who cares? He got the job done. Akali destroying Teta. Fury wants that Usyk get back. See if I can pick that up here. Let's see. How much did you think Anthony Joshua made in the Jake Paul fight? They said 92 apiece. That's what they said. I didn't know they were making the same amount, which I think is kind of fly, though.
Heavyweight world circles around Usyk at the top, of course. But
all right, so we're in round 2.
Absolutely, and that's what you want as a fighter. You want these opportunities, and what an exciting time to be a heavyweight on the cuffs of big opportunity.
I kind of miss this though, man. I remember like back in 2015, I used to do live streams in my car, you know, watching it, you know. Lawrence Akali, bro, he needs to be careful because this dude's getting way too fat. Way too fat. Ooh, good overhand right. $95 million, huh? Good right uppercut for Akali. I speak to my therapist in my car every month. Akali fight on now. UK fighters are always on weird timing. No, Quan, they're in Africa. All right, Teta just went down again. He's been falling all over the place. Oh, good right hand from Lawrence Akali. No, another right hand lands. Yeah, Teta, they're gonna call this off. Yeah, he's not even fighting back no more, bro. They need to stop this fight. Yeah, Thanksgiving Akali beating up this old guy ain't impressive, really. None of Akali's shits are, man. He's a sloppy ass fighter, and he's getting dust. And then he's gaining this weight like the weight's gonna make him better. No, it's just making you bigger. He's a big mother. He's like 270. Because I know he's tall, but maybe he's just filling in. Maybe he's just gonna, you know. Okay, 196 votes, 65% says no. Jake Paul hasn't gained the respect versus 35% says that he has. Now that was kind of fluctuating. Now we have the final result. And they wave it off. Good job. Good job. All right. It's over. Because that dude's he wasn't ready to fight, bro. He's trying to get good. Look, Teta has quit before. Hold on, let me move this. Teta has quit before against Dillian White. Facts. So it is what it is. But yeah, he could have waived that when he didn't do anything. Tete is a damn. Tete is a. He's a He's a stool quitter. That shit was sloppy and weird. It was sloppy and weird, man. But anyway, man, whatever that was, bro, that was like watching Tate versus D'Amore yesterday. But at least this only lasted 2 rounds, so who cares? Lawrence McCauley versus Martin McCauley. I would give it to Martin McCauley because Martin McCauley would probably already get to him. Chase D'Amore's fights like a Kenny Gordon. Canadian bullshit fighter. Yeah, man.
We're going to take it to the ring. Like I always say, another slam dunk decision right here. But, of course, the ring announcer has to give us the official verdict.
Well, TKO stoppage for Lawrence McCauley. You know, I mean, for whatever it was only 2 rounds, so he didn't even last out the 2nd round. Tete's gone, bro. He is done. Billy was saying McCauley should be fighting early 2026 against who, though? I don't know. He's the manager, I think, and you would think he would want him to figure that out, but obviously he didn't. Zhilei Zhang versus Arslan Makhmudov would be interesting. It would be. I think Zhang would knock him out, though. Zhang punches too hard for Makhmudov. Makhmudov has already been knocked out a couple times by Villanello and who? I get Caballo. So I don't see him doing anything like that. To Big Zhang, Big Bang, unless he could get Big Bang past 6 rounds. Frazier Clark got rid of him in 1 round. Nah. But guys, I'm gonna jump off of here. I got a lot of stuff to do. I have a lot of videos that I made, so stay tuned for that. I appreciate you guys jumping on for this reflection video concerning Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul, okay, and Andrew Tate in his latest loss. Be blessed again. See you guys tomorrow, and you all have been counterpunched. Peace. Jackson Mans, I'm not cooking, bro. I went out to eat today. After church, I went out to eat. Peace.